Hi, this is my EXP convertible. If you didn't already know, um, pretty rare. If you don't know much about it, watch the rest of my YouTube channel. There's a few good videos on this. Uh, One was actually recently found in South Carolina. One of the 8. Really considering getting it, but I do have to get this one done first. If I don't get this one done in a timely manner, I don't think I'll be getting that one in South Carolina. However, I get this one done sometime in the summer, at least close. If I start making some awesome ground on this, I'll be able to get that second one, and then I'll start doing the restoration process on that. This one has come a long way and has a long way to go. So, I haven't made any videos in a while because I've been crazy busy here at the shop. But had some good weather this weekend and had some free time for the first time in months. Many months. I haven't touched this car since February. And it's May something now. So I haven't done anything in a long time. But did today and this weekend, did some stuff. I did some bracing. Well, my father and I did. So why did we do bracing? Well, it's a convertible. I'm sure that seems obvious to most of you. Yeah, it's a convertible. You want to do bracing to it if you plan on putting it on a rotisserie. Yes, very much so. It needs to go on a rotisserie for somewhat obvious reasons. We have to get underneath the car to fix some of the rot that's in and around this thing. We have to cut out a lot of metal, like the rocker panels. So hiding behind these rocker panels from the conversion factory, I don't know if you can see that or not. From the conversion factory, they put in it's like a 2x4 hollow metal tube that goes all the way down behind the front quarter panels. So right below the A-pillar, they go straight down from there. And then they're welded onto another 2x4 hollow metal tube that starts at the front corner right behind the wheels. It goes all the way down behind or under the rocker to the back of the car. And the one issue with that is over time these wheel wells rust. And when they rot, it exposes the end of that steel tube to water, snow, salt, dirt, mud, whatever. Anything and everything ends up inside of it. And then it decays from the inside out. You can see that on this side it's actually rusted shut. It's supposed to be completely open like the other side, but I can't get a good camera angle on it. But that was open at one point, and it filled full of who knows what, and has been rusting. It's rusting so bad that all the plies of rust have swallowed it shut. So now it looks like someone had just stuffed it full of rust chips, should I say? Yes. So those have to be removed, and the only way to do it is to cut out the rocker panel and put a new one in its place, or put the old one back in its place, whatever. I did find a place nearby that actually makes these rocker panels. They make them from scratch. So I have one coming. It should be here next week, and I'll have a video on it because I'm excited. If it's great, I'll share everything I know about it, how to get a hold of the guys so you can buy them, because they're the only people that make them, or even sell them for that matter. And if they're great, I want the world to know. If not, then, well, I don't want to end up wasting your time. So let's hope for the best, because making these isn't too terribly difficult. But if I can buy them for as cheap as I did, that saves me a lot of time and doesn't cost me any more than it would to buy the sheet metal, of that size. And then, of course, the tools I need to bend it correctly. See that corner's been crumpled. But to remove that tube that's behind the rocker panel, we have to get this thing up in the air. And the only way to do that is put on our rotisserie. Even if I had a car lift, you know, a 4-point lift that's bolted into the concrete. I don't really have any good places to jack it up with. And even if I did, the car would crumple in half. And that's the issue we face with the Rotisserie. Because the Rotisserie, you can see, it's just a normal traditional rotisserie. Geez, I'll turn that brightness down. It's just a normal rotisserie that mounts with, 2 points at the front of the car and then 2 more points at the rear, so then you can lift it up, turn it, whatever. And that is perfect. The only issue, and this is an issue with all rotisseries, or pretty much anything I could ever do with this car, is it will flex. The normal EXPs and LN7s, the coupes, this is a convertible. Every single EXP LN7 has a crap ton of flex in the rear. And that is because they have a massive hatch instead of a traditional trunk. So your B-pillar starts yay wide, but you can see that's not reinforced with much at all. This is only 20 gauge steel on the inside, and then 22 gauge steel on the innermost side. And that's all there is. It's just that. And it goes all the way up towards the top of the car, and at the top it's only about 6 inches wide. And then for the roof, it's just one piece of sheet metal that's been formed to slight convex. And then it just has one brace in the middle. So it's not too terribly sturdy. When I drive my Blue 82, whenever I come home at night, my hatch sits in a different position. It's always hugging one side or the other, and you can tell whether I took a left-hand turn into my driveway or right-hand turn by the way the hatch is sitting, just because these rear quarters flex so much. Now, imagine it with a convertible. Well, it's even worse because I haven't removed the roof, but to make it a convertible, the conversion company had removed the roof and had replaced it with a fiberglass boot that really just bolts into these thick plates. Now, so this thing has an insane amount of flex, and they try fixing it with that 2x4 square tubing that I mentioned, and then they weld these 1/4 inch thick plates onto that square tube. So that's what's welded onto that square tube. Grinding that off will suck. Have some pity for me. That's gonna suck. Because it won't just drop through the car as one whole piece. I need to grind these 1/4 inch thick triangles off of that square tube before I can pull either off of the car. And that is just gonna suck. And I have to pull them all off to get to the rust that lays behind them and around them. You see, I opted to cut through the wheel well just because all this was rotted. It was all soft crap. Some of this was already gone even. So I just cut it all, and I'll be filling in this wheel well at some point. But like I said, I have to get it on a rotisserie first to remove the rust. But to get on the rotisserie, so I have to, before I can do anything more than what I've done, I have to get it up on a rotisserie. And the only way I can do that is if we brace it. So we're almost done with the bracing. We got pretty far just today. All this was from just today. It took a lot of work planning where we want them. And we were being strategic. We wanted the welds to be strong and in places where we could easily get at them with a grinder. So when it comes time to remove all this, it's not an issue. Also had to be careful so we could actually get in there with a welder too. So getting around the dashboard area was rather difficult. But otherwise it wasn't too bad. We still got a little ways to go. Need to join some of these in this general area right above the seat, because like I said, these rear quarters, they flex a lot. I don't know how much you can see that, but we really firmed this thing up. So I could put it on our rotisserie right now, but I want to firm it up just a little bit more. If I could add some joints, like in here, that would be great. That would make it crazy for, because you'll push down on the corner. You can see the rest of the car doesn't really move much, but you can see, maybe you can see the ends of these quarter panels. The rear quarters still scooch in and out. Part of that is because I removed the door gaskets, so the door naturally just wobbles in and out, like so. Because there's no gasket to take up the slop in the door latch, so there'll always be a little bit, but it still moves a bunch, and that's what we need to fix real soon here, and then it can go up on the rotisserie. Well, it's just been a lot of planning, a lot of logistics going on here, because we had started removing these plates, and we had the clever idea, because like I said, we have to grind these plates off of our 2x4 square tubing, and like I said, this is where the boot mounts onto. There's these brackets here, these hefty suckers, these overkill things, these critters bolt on like so, and then the boot bolts into them there. And then on this top corner piece, it's where the part of the boot and the rest of the top mounts onto. So we need to get these triangle 1/4 inch plates aligned perfectly when we try putting them back in after we've replaced all the metal around it, like the wheel wells, the lower floor, rockers, that 2x4 tube. After all that gets replaced, we have to put these in almost perfectly to where they were before. Otherwise my boot won't line up worth a darn. And to cut new holes and tap new holes in the scrap will be really hard. To grind these open further will be a lot of work, and then I still have to mess around with the alignment of them. That's part of the issue we have to address with our framework. We need to some way tie in our B-pillars to our framing, so these can't move in and out. If these move in and out, and we kind of set it in stone like that, whatever we set the distance between here to there at, whatever that distance is, it'll always be that way. And it might be too close or too far, meaning my boot won't fit. And the boot fitting is pretty critical, because fiberglass, there's not much I can do to change that to work with my car. It's kind of set in stone. But I also have my doors to deal with. And if the tops of these quarter panels are in or out too far, the door fitment will be terrible. My door might not close all the way, it might go in too far, it might have a different gap up top than down below. The door might be poking out on the top, but sitting in on the bottom, or vice versa. There could be a lot of serious body panel alignment issues that I will not accept. So to do it right, as hokey as it looks, this is really what it takes. We're not done yet. Like I said, we have to firm up some joints. I'm thinking about doing chunk of pipe there, here, there, and then one more, so we have a kind of triangle thing going on, just so I can firm up these rear quarters, the B-pillar, and then I think we'll be set to throw it on the rotisserie. Once we have it on the rotisserie, we can finally get these plates off that we had aligned ever so carefully by simply welding nuts around it as a template. So when we go to put those back on, we simply slip it around all these nuts and weld that sucker in. And once we do that, I'll clean it up, make it pretty. Well, pretty-ish. It's all going to be covered up by the plastic interior panels, and they're huge. And the boot. So that will all be covered up nicely. but I need to make sure that there's nothing protruding in the way of mounting my boot or the trim panels themselves. So I have to clean all that up. I have to get all the rust off it and prime it, paint it, so it can't ever rust again, at least in my lifetime. And then we move on. But we have a long way to get to that point. Like I said, I got to take the rockers off. I'll have new rockers coming in sometime this week, and I'll have a video on those. Let's hope for the best, because like I said, if they're nice, I'll tell the world. Because if I love them, I love them. But man, praying to God, I hope they're nice. The only people in the world that makes any body parts for these, aside from Harry Glass, who makes fiberglass front ends for the Fog Eyes, and then rear deck lids and bumpers for these. the first gen EXPs and L17s. But those are spendy. Like each body panel is $400 or more. Yikes. But if you're racing, those are great. You know, the fiberglass deck lid, I'm sure it only weighs 10 pounds. The normal one weighs like closer to 40, 50. You put glass in it, now it's closer to 80. If you have a bubble pack, now it's, you know, pushing 120, I'm sure. It's a lot, especially if you have the spoiler on it. The spoiler alone is 30 some pounds. It's ridiculous. It's insane. But I've made this video kind of long enough for now. So next weekend might not be doing too much with this. We have to put another car on the rotisserie just for a day or two, so we can remove some rust, and then we get to dive into this. But it will be interesting. So like you see, that right there, that little bit of door jamb is all that's holding the front of the car together with this rear quarter. Everything else is just that little exhaust tunnel. And then that quarter is a little better than this one, but still has some serious issues that need addressing. But we've gone really far, but we're not done yet. We got a long way to go. but if I end up scoring that, the sister car to this, another 82 Ford EXP convertible from the Dynamic Conversions company, I'll let you know, and you will see a video on it. But it'll be neat. Another once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As long as these opportunities don't take a lifetime, right? But I have high hopes and high expectations, mostly of myself, because I'm pretty skilled. I'm not the best. I'm no Mark Warman by any means, but I'm really good with these. I do a really good job with these, and I do my best. And that's all anyone can do. So, you know, if you need help with anything, give a shout. I'll help all I can through comments, email, photos, video, whatever. Also taking suggestions for video. Life's crazy busy, but the summer, I'm sure all you know, my summer videos ramp up pretty hard. I do a lot more videos in the summer than I do in the winter, just simply because most of my cars are outside, so I have access to them 24/7. And I'm getting more EXPs this year. Hopefully not 2 more, but I am getting more. But we'll leave it at that for now. I'll let you guys go. Good luck with your projects. You know, hopefully they're coming along like mine, slowly but surely. As long as you do everything right, keep the end product in mind, you'll go far. Maybe this weekend we'll take the doors off. It'll be a good video. Doors are kind of tricky, but I don't want to spoil the surprise, so we'll stop there. Good luck, guys. See you later.